Hi everyone, welcome to Business English Podcast. I'm Tom.
Mary.
Well, today we're exploring how to introduce yourself effectively in business situations. We'll talk about simple techniques, best practices, and real-world examples. By the end, you'll know how to make a great first impression.
Thanks for tuning in. This episode will cover a clear structure, plus tips you can apply immediately. It should help anyone seeking to stand out, whether you're interviewing or networking.
We'll walk you through the format and show why a concise, confident introduction really matters. Let's start by looking at why this question, "Tell me about yourself," matters so much. It's typically the first thing people hear from you in a job interview or a networking event. So it's basically your big chance to shine.
I just think it's crucial to give a concise snapshot of who you are. If you ramble, you risk losing the listener's interest. But if you sound too scripted, you might not appear genuine or engaging.
Exactly. In recent years, recruiters and managers have said they decide quickly if someone is a good fit, based on that initial introduction. People form impressions fast, so the importance here cannot be overstated.
So let's consider a real-world example. I met a project manager who always started with, "I'm a dedicated professional who loves solving complex issues." Instantly, it set the tone. Actually, that single sentence made people curious to know more.
I remember hearing about someone who said, "Well, I'm just an ordinary accountant." That was, not the best move. You see, first impressions can stick, so highlighting your strengths or passions is absolutely key.
In corporate settings, the question often appears in performance reviews, team meetings, or stakeholder updates. Basically, there's a need to reintroduce yourself in different contexts. People want to see if your goals, skills, and personality align with what they need.
Let me see, I'd say the biggest trend now is personal branding. Employers expect you to have a clear sense of your own brand. Well, if you can articulate your unique qualities, you stand out in a competitive marketplace.
By the way, a dynamic introduction doesn't mean bragging. You want to sound confident yet humble. It's about value. What can you offer? And how does your background support that? Keep it friendly and positive.
Yes. I've seen best practices from top firms like Google and Amazon. They encourage candidates to share a concise timeline, highlight skills, then mention career goals. It's basically a 3-step method: past, present, and future.
All right, let's break that down further. For the past, mention your background, like your education and early roles. For the present, share your current job, focus, or key projects. Finally, for the future, outline what you want to achieve.
Exactly. This structure works in interviews and at conferences and even in casual meetups. People are usually interested in your journey and your motivation. If you frame it well, they quickly grasp who you are and why you matter.
In terms of trends, the gig economy has encouraged people to maintain a flexible, multi-skilled brand. Actually, it's not just about traditional career paths anymore. Highlighting diverse experiences can make you seem adaptable, and that's a big plus these days.
Yes, recruiters appreciate it when you mention cross-functional abilities. You see, if you've worked in marketing but also learned some coding, that's valuable. Well, it shows you're open to learning, which can lead to growth in multiple directions.
Let me see. A specific example might be mentioning a personal project. Perhaps you managed a small team for a volunteer event. That demonstrates leadership and initiative, even outside of traditional work. Experiences like that really highlight your capabilities.
People should realize they can use storytelling. Actually, a brief narrative can help listeners remember you. For instance, explain how you discovered a passion for data analysis. That small story can make your introduction more engaging and memorable.
So let's talk about length. Basically, you want to keep it under a minute or so when speaking. Written introductions, like for LinkedIn, can be a bit longer, but clarity and focus are still essential. People rarely read massive blocks of text.
Exactly. Brevity matters. Also, I'd suggest practicing. Record yourself or do a quick role play. That way, you can weed out awkward phrases. Well, it helps you sound natural and confident, rather than robotic or unprepared.
I just like to remind people to keep a friendly tone. If you rush or sound tense, it can be off-putting. By the way, a smile, even over the phone, can change your vocal energy and make you more approachable.
You see, authenticity also matters. Actually, if you pretend to be someone you're not, it often shows. Emphasize real achievements and interests. That's how you build trust quickly. So a genuine introduction can open doors you didn't even know existed.
In summary, tell me about yourself has grown more significant amid virtual interviews and global networking. People crave quick, authentic glimpses into who you are. And if you handle it well, you might form connections that boost your career and reputation.
To wrap up this segment, remember that preparation is key. If you tailor your introduction to the context, you'll leave a strong impression. People will see your purpose and be more likely to trust your abilities.
Let's move on to some practical tips for mastering this introduction. First, craft a short script of roughly 3 to 4 sentences. Actually, think of it like your personal commercial, but make sure it doesn't sound robotic.
Well, I'd say practice out loud. Even record yourself on your phone. You see, hearing your own voice can reveal pacing issues or awkward language. So keep adjusting until it feels natural, confident, and smoothly delivered.
Let me see, using bullet points instead of memorizing a script can help. If you cling to exact wording, you might freeze when you forget a phrase. Basically, flexible talking points keep you sounding genuine while ensuring you cover the essentials.
Another tip is to focus on achievements or experiences that align with your goal. If you're interviewing for a marketing job, highlight your campaign success. If it's finance, mention analytical projects. Exactly. Tailor each introduction to your target audience.
Yes, and keep it relatable. People appreciate when you tie your story to real-world results. For example, I grew sales by 15% is more compelling than I handled sales. Actually, numbers can bring credibility and show tangible benefits.
So remember to mention your passion. If you're excited about what you do, it naturally shows. Enthusiasm can be contagious. It also signals that you're not just in it for a paycheck, but genuinely invested in your field.
Basically, think about the bigger picture. If your introduction reflects how you plan to solve problems or create value, listeners see you as proactive. Well, that can set the stage for deeper conversations, because people want to know how you'll help them.
You might also incorporate a question at the end, like, "I'd love to hear about your approach too." This makes your introduction interactive. By the way, it shows you're open to dialogue instead of just talking about yourself.
Yes, that's a great idea. People respond well when they're invited into the conversation. I just find that offering space for others to share builds rapport faster. It also makes your introduction feel less like a monologue.
Let me see. If you're in a virtual setting, body language still matters. Sit up straight, look at the camera, and nod occasionally. Actually, these cues show you're engaged. It's not just about what you say, but how you present yourself.
Try to keep your voice varied in tone. Basically, monotone speech can bore people. Show some excitement when you mention achievements, and slow down for key points. By the way, a little pause can emphasize a major accomplishment or a surprising fact.
On social media or professional platforms, tailor your intro slightly. If you're using LinkedIn, mention your current role and specific industry insights. If you're on Twitter, keep it punchy. So always adapt your tone and content to fit the platform.
Exactly, and watch out for too much jargon. Some specialized terms are fine, but remember your audience. If they don't share your technical background, you risk losing them. A clear, concise language style usually works best for everyone.
You can also highlight personal hobbies if they're relevant. For instance, if you're an avid marathon runner, it can show dedication and discipline. People love little personal tidbits, but keep it brief. I just wouldn't overshare.
Also, consider cultural nuances. In some places, a direct, straightforward approach is appreciated. In others, a more formal tone is better. Actually, learning a bit about local business etiquette can help you adapt your introduction effectively.
One last tip. Update your introduction regularly. As you grow professionally, your story evolves. So don't stick to the same spiel forever. By the way, it's good practice to tweak it for new roles, industries, or goals.
Well, I'd emphasize the importance of feedback. Ask a friend or colleague to listen and give suggestions. Actually, they may catch something you miss. That outside perspective can refine your introduction and make it more impactful.
So to sum up these tips, build a flexible script, practice out loud, tailor your points, and keep it genuine. If you do that, you're on your way to delivering a memorable, tell me about yourself moment every time. All right, let's jump into our English lesson. We noticed several terms and phrases came up today. We'll highlight 5 that are useful for introductions and business settings. First up is concise.
Concise means expressing something in a clear and brief way. In other words, you get straight to the point. For example, her email was concise yet informative. That indicates she included all necessary details without unnecessary words.
Exactly. Concise is important when introducing yourself because people have short attention spans. If you're concise, you show respect for their time, so it's a great way to keep them engaged from the start.
Next we have snapshot. A snapshot is like a quick picture or summary of something. In business English, you might say, "Let me give you a snapshot of our current project." It means a short overview or highlight.
Yes, snapshot works well in introductions when you want to summarize who you are. For instance, let me give you a quick snapshot of my role in marketing and how I can help expand our brand reach.
Third, let's look at rambling. To ramble means to speak in a wandering, unfocused way. If someone says, "He's rambling about his weekend," it implies he's talking without structure or clarity, possibly boring the listener.
You want to avoid rambling when you introduce yourself. Basically, people lose interest if you go on tangents. So staying concise and structured prevents you from sounding all over the place.
Next is tailor. To tailor something means to customize or adjust it for a specific purpose or audience. For example, you should tailor your pitch to different clients. So, you adapt your message according to their needs.
In intros, we tailor our words to the setting. If it's a job interview, focus on relevant skills. If it's a casual meetup, keep it lighter. Exactly. The context dictates the level of detail or formality.
Finally, tangible. Something tangible is real, concrete, or measurable. Like, we saw tangible results from our marketing campaign, a 20% increase in sales. It often emphasizes that the outcome can be clearly observed or quantified.
In an introduction, mentioning tangible achievements can boost credibility. For instance, "I grew social media engagement by 40%, shows a measurable impact." People respond to numbers because they offer proof you can deliver results.
So those are our 5 key terms: concise, snapshot, rambling, tailor, and tangible. Each one can help you shape a more effective self-introduction. Feel free to practice using them in different sentences until they become part of your active vocabulary.
Exactly. Practicing these words in context is crucial for retention. If you're in a study group, try role-playing interviews with these terms. It helps you remember and also gives you confidence in real situations.
Well, that's our English lesson for today. Keep these words in mind as you refine your introduction. Once you master them, you'll convey your message more effectively, and people will see you as a clear, results-driven communicator.
All right. Keep exploring these terms in daily conversations, emails, or presentations. The more you use them, the more naturally they'll fit into your professional vocabulary. That wraps up our English lesson segment.
Now let's move to our closing. Today we discussed how to answer "Tell me about yourself" by offering a concise, structured snapshot of your background, current role, and future goals. We also covered practical tips to help you refine your introduction.
We stress the importance of preparation, passion, and adaptability. Exactly. That combination makes your message compelling. Our practical tips section focused on crafting a script, practicing it, and tailoring your words to each situation. The goal is to connect with your audience.
We also introduced an English lesson featuring words like concise, snapshot, and tailor. Using these terms correctly can strengthen your introduction and communication skills overall. I just believe that expanding your vocabulary can give you extra confidence in business settings.
Exactly. Whether you're chatting at a networking event or starting a new job, a strong intro sets the tone. People get a sense of who you are, what you can do, and why it matters.
If we think about it, today's competitive environment demands clear and confident self-expression. Employers and colleagues appreciate it when you can succinctly explain your background and aspirations. Basically, it shows you're organized, motivated, and ready to add value.
Our hope is that this podcast gives you concrete strategies and vocabulary. If you take just a few ideas from today's episode, you'll be in a better position to impress people in interviews, meetings, or everyday conversations.
Let me see. I'd sum up today with a reminder. Keep your introduction dynamic and authentic. Also, review our English lesson words because they really help articulate your message. The more comfortable you are, the more impact you'll have.
So that wraps up our episode. Thanks for joining us on the Business English Podcast. We hope these insights make your self-introduction smoother and more compelling. We'll be back soon with another topic to boost your business English skills.
We appreciate every listener. Remember, consistency is key when learning a new skill, so keep practicing and refining. If you found value in this episode, feel free to share it with friends or colleagues who might benefit.
All right, that's it for today. Keep introducing yourself with confidence and clarity. We'll catch you next time on Business English Podcast. Take care, everyone.